Here comes the money. Shane McMahon has caused waves throughout the wrestling world today, as it appears that all plans for Shane McMahon leading to the road to WrestleMania have been thrown out the window. We will discuss a lot about that, as a lot has come out on that story today. Also, some top WWE superstars, their 90-day no-compete clauses are done. They are now free and clear to do whatever they want in the world of pro wrestling. We will discuss who is involved in that list. And Booker T says one top WWE superstar is now going to be considered a babyface. Let's see if we agree with Booker, because it's time. It's time for the Sports Key to Wrestling top story.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
What is up, everybody? JB here. I am joined. It is a Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast invasion, as tonight I am joined by none other than Rick Ucchino and Sid SP3. Gentlemen, how's it going today?
Wait, did you just say an invasion? Like the name on the contract reads McMahon, but it's not Vince McMahon.
Sure as hell ain't Shane either.
McMahon.
Sure as hell ain't
about that kind of invasion angle going on here.
Sure as hell ain't Shane on the contract anymore, is it? How you doing, Sid?
I'm doing well. What a crazy news day that we're gonna have to unwrap here. And Shane O'Mac to AEW confirmed.
Let me do my.
Just another free agent for Tony Khan to just snatch up like that. He wasted no time bringing Brian Kendrickson in.
I got a McMahon, and it ain't Vince. Yeah. Brian Kendrick Moxley tonight on Dynamite. That's going to be a hell of a match I'm looking forward to. I hope we get the old Brian Kendrick back. I hope he wants to wrestle as much as he wants to, physically do it. So I'm excited for that. So that'll be a lot of fun. Let's boy. Lots to talk here. Let's cover that top story. There's a lot to unravel here. There has been a report that basically the word is that Shane McMahon has been quietly let go, according to Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer. It is reported that Shane McMahon is out of the company. It is unknown whether his talent deal was terminated or if just plans for him the next 2 months were simply dropped. Of course, a lot of rumors surrounding Shane McMahon and what he was going to do coming up here on the road to WrestleMania. There were reports that he was supposed to be in the Elimination Chamber in some capacity in a match, not in the chamber match itself per se, but some capacity. And then, of course, a WrestleMania feud as well. Gentlemen, let's start with Rick. What are your thoughts on this crazy news about Shane McMahon?
Yeah, and let's give credit where credit's due. Ringside News did report this first, and Dave Meltzer and Fightful Select have confirmed it. And also, Ringside, not always the most accurate, but it appears that they had their fingers on the pulse for this one, and they have been more accurate as of late. So I'll give credit where credit's due on that one. But there's a lot stemming from this. Most importantly, like one of the reasons why this happened is because of what Shane is accused of doing at the Royal Rumble, which was he was not on the internal producer sheet for the men's Royal Rumble match, but he was brought in to help out and did pretty much the exact opposite of that, and basically went into business for himself, was reportedly more concerned about his positioning in the match than anything. And a lot of his ideas were turned down by Vince. He changed a lot of things that Vince wanted, and that this was just complete and total chaos surrounding the men's Royal Rumble match. And anybody who watched that men's Royal Rumble match knew something went wrong, because that thing was terrible. It was nonsensical. There was nothing cohesive about that thing at all. And the fact that Shane McMahon still ended up in the match, to me, is mind-boggling, let alone eliminating Kevin Owens. The entire thing, all I can say is disappointment that WWE was so disjointed, so chaotic, that they let one of their biggest events of the year just get completely and totally trashed, because clearly their on-screen product is not the most important thing to them. Otherwise, this would not happen. This is the men's Royal Rumble. You should have this solidified, lockstep, delivered, plan set in place couple of days out at the very least. And if you want to make some minor tweaks, okay, fine. And this is part of an even bigger problem of the fact that we don't know what the WWE Championship match is. They couldn't figure out anybody else other than Brock Lesnar. But hey, if Brock Lesnar was reportedly your favorite to win for weeks out, what the hell's the damn problem? What's up with all the last minute changes? If you knew who the winner was, the rest of this should have fallen into place pretty easily. And again, I'm also disappointed in the fact that Shane, who I like, I think is a very underrated performer. I appreciate everything that he has put his body through for us, the fans, over the years.
Oh, yeah.
But for him to come in at 52 and go into business for himself to try to set up his WrestleMania plans and this, that, and the other thing, when the company itself has a massive problem in building younger stars for the future, it's all just very disappointing. I'm disappointed in WWE. I'm disappointed in Shane O'Mac. And that, of course, is if all of this is true. It's all allegations and reports at this point. It's I can't think of a better word to describe it than just disappointing.
A lot of people in there is thinking it's a work. I don't know if it's necessarily a work. It's hard telling because otherwise we would have seen Shane on Raw. Because I think PW Insider reported that Shane was set to have a match at Elimination Chamber. It was not known what it was going to be, but it was Shane was scheduled to be a regular on Raw going into the road to WrestleMania and then have a WrestleMania match. My thought on Top Story a couple days ago was he would have a tag match with Austin Theory. Vince would put it together. It would blow up. That would set Shane and Austin Theory at Mania. That was my ultimate guess.
And that would have made sense. And that would have been fine. That would have been fine.
Sid, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I'm honestly, I'm not bothered by Shane McMahon coming in and wanting to set up the road to WrestleMania through the Royal Rumble, because honestly, I tell you guys, I wish a lot of stars that have the pull to do that would do more of that kind of stuff.
Go into business for themselves.
I talk about it all the time on Believe in Pro Wrestling with Rick, that I wish Becky Lynch would have opened up her mouth and said, I should be a babyface when I return. I wish that there was guys like Kevin Owens, who just signed a $3 million deal, that would have said, I want to set up this for WrestleMania. This is my idea. This is how you can set it up in the Royal Rumble. I wish we heard more of that. Honestly, all this information that we've heard about Shane McMahon, it comes off as WWE using him as a scapegoat. I am hesitant to believe it's as bad as Shane McMahon is the sole catalyst of this poor reception for the Royal Rumble because he was causing chaos. He's one person, like Vince McMahon. You are the final say on everything in this company. It doesn't matter what Shane says, and obviously we've seen over the last couple of months, it doesn't matter what Triple H says or what Triple H thought. You see that every single Tuesday on NXT 2.0. So Shane McMahon, I don't think, should be getting the brunt of the blame. It comes down to the same person we would give the credit to if everything works out because he's the final say, is the same person we should put most of this blame on the Men's Royal Rumble coming off poorly. It should be on Vince McMahon. I think that all of this is a scapegoat type kind of thing for Shane McMahon. I think that it's good for him to kind of be out there, and he hasn't technically been in the company all this time. He's kind of been a talent. He's gone. He's done stints, and then he leaves. This one, unfortunately, it was a lot of differences, a lot of chaos happening. I think that Shane might have been a problem backstage, but to put all of this brunt of this blame on him for the Men's Royal Rumble, I'm not with it, and I don't believe it.
Yeah. I didn't say all the blame, deserved to go on Shane, but obviously he caused enough problems backstage with his producers and everybody else that they felt that this move needed to be made. But again, it's all part of the bigger picture of WWE constantly making last minute changes and not finalizing plans. And I still don't know if they know what they want their WWE Championship match to be at WrestleMania. And that's a major problem at this point in the game.
Yeah,
I do. They've known ever since day one, ladies and gentlemen. It's a title versus title match. There's no bigger match that the WWE title can be involved in than Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. We've all tried to think crazy situations or WWE title matches that would be better, but honestly, I have not heard any option that's better than Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I'll be honest. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins.
in and of itself is part of the problem that WWE does not have anybody else who can fill that program right now.
No, and we've been saying this ever since Saturday night on the post show. John Alba had tweeted the perfect thing. WWE has done such a crappy job building stars that this is where they're at with the Rumble. And I still do not think it's going to be title versus title. I don't trust creative to get their way out of it to split the belts up again. I think
it doesn't have to be a unification. You can have either Brock 2 belts or Roman 2 reigns. You can do either one of those situations, and then you can have either person on both shows defending both titles.
True.
But nobody has said unification. And by the way, I'm really proud of Roman 2 reigns. I thought that one was pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, put that on a t-shirt. I don't know. I'm still not thinking it's going to be title for title. I think it's going to be Randy and Riddle possibly. We'll see what happens though. I don't know where Randy was this week. That was kind of inconspicuous because he was supposed to be on Raw. Nobody quite knows what was going on there exactly. So my guess was it's going to be Riddle win. I'm predicting Riddle winning the chamber match. I'm predicting Roman screwing Brock again. Obviously, Brock still has his choice of champions. So, I don't foresee Brock winning the chamber match. I think he's going to get screwed somehow. Whether it be all of the bloodline coming in and just totally wrecking Lesnar, I don't think he's going to win that match. We'll see.
I just think that diminishes the whole chamber gimmick, honestly. Like I think the best option for WWE, honestly, is the title versus title match because Riddle and Randy doesn't need the title, and it's not about the title,
and they don't need to be broken up yet either.
Yeah,
here's the thing, and I've said that
broken up.
Yeah, and I've said this on the Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast, which, by the way, I did share that link in the comment section, so make sure you click on it and subscribe. I really, really appreciate it. We're trying to work our way towards monetization. But, everybody thinks that if it's Randall and Riddle in a match with one another, that they have to break up. I think it would be very intriguing if Riddle did win the Elimination Chamber, came out as WWE champion, and then Randy Orton, as a mentor to him, they remain friends, but he somehow became the number one contender, and then they both, babyface versus babyface, partner versus partner, fought for the WWE championship at WrestleMania, and then that was the starting point for the split. You don't have to rush a split first. They can still be cool with one another heading into WrestleMania, and then maybe Riddle wins that match over Orton, and then that is what starts the decline between RK Bro, and you can extend that out over the course of the summer.
And it's funny, the original plan was to have them broken up by SummerSlam last year, but it went so well, and you can just tell by looking at Randy and his demeanor in the ring that he is just enjoying the hell out of this partnership with RK Bro. So that's why it's continued. And maybe it doesn't they don't necessarily have to break up, I don't think. Hey, we got a run-in live from Chicago ahead of AEW Dynamite, and it looks like he froze. We got a black screen of Kev Kellum. Maybe we can get.
Oh, this is the winter storm. This is what this is. This is what this looks like. Kevin,
it's black snow in Chicago. That's not good. Jeez, yeah, up to 2 feet of snow that is thankfully barely missed me. So I just get the cold weather. Hopefully Kev can come back.
We're getting ice in the Natty. This is gonna suck.
Yeah. So hopefully. We got a maybe. Oh, hey, maybe there's Kev.
Hey.
What's up, boys? How you doing?
We are we're talking the Shane O'Mac news because that's just caught up like wildfire today. You are right at the arena for AEW Dynamite tonight. What's it like out there, man?
Well, there was a concern for snow. I mean, a torrential downpour of snow here in the Midwest, some parts of Illinois. Just about an hour or so of us got, 15 inches since about 9 a.m. this morning. And I thought it was going to be pretty bad. There's a lot of people I know that were going to the show tonight for AEW Dynamite at the Wintrust Arena that were on the fence about buying a ticket. AEW been here a lot in the last year and a half. Maybe they wanted to go to the Royal Rumble, which is, a day trip down last weekend, and then they heard Punk versus MJF. They're like, okay, yeah. But then today with the snow, there's plenty of people like, nah, I'm not going. I know people that have tickets that are not going tonight because they thought the snow was going to be that bad.
Yeah, it's interesting. And yeah, like I said, thankfully it's missing us. And so it looks like it really hasn't hit as hard as it was supposed to, huh?
No, it hasn't hit as hard as it thought. I mean, I took an Uber over here from my place, which I thought would take a while and be pricey, and was moderate at best, you know. Behind me is Reggie's Rock Room. This is where I'm doing the after party comedy show later on tonight. If you know anyone, tag them.
Yeah, if anybody's going to Dynamite tonight, go down the street 2 blocks from it, right?
Yeah, 2 blocks. Great food, by the way. It's probably the best wing buffet in the city, and then it's a rock club at the same time, and good beer and all that stuff. And hopefully with some friends show up. And there's a bus that'll make you walk the 2 blocks if you don't want to get your sneakers wet in the snow. But no, I mean, quite the vibe here tonight. I mean, this to me, this is a 1-match show. This is Punk versus MJF.
Well, hey, don't forget, Kev.
Well, hang on. We do have some breaking news here real quick. Breaking news tweeted by Tony Khan. There has been a change to the card tonight. He wrote on Twitter, quote, "We have been made aware of abhorrent and offensive comments made in the past by Brian Kendrick. No room in AEW for the views expressed by Brian. We think it's best for all that he be pulled from tonight's card as we gather more information, and we will announce a replacement as soon as possible." Brian Kendrick was supposed to face Jon Moxley tonight, and he has now been pulled from the show just a day really after getting his release from WWE and being brought into AEW.
What
do we know? Do we know any more information as to what those comments may have been?
Yeah, SP3, you wanna fill him in on this?
This is news to me, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
David Bixenspan posted an old interview that Brian Kendrick had on High Spots, where he basically was a Holocaust denier, and he said a lot of offensive things. So,
and Whoopi Goldberg just got pulled from The View because of that. Yay!
I think there was
dodge a bullet.
Let's change
stuff that he said about Sandy Hook as well. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that he said.
I did not know that. I did not know that.
Boy.
Hey, Kev, by the way, you're at maybe a good show because guess what today is? It is the end of some 90-day no-competes, which we're going to get into in a little bit.
There is some talk of that here in Chicago. I've heard some rumblings, but nothing I could share that I would feel would be credible, you know? And just like, you know, I was in St. Louis and I had people coming up to me and saying, "Hey, you were Sportskeeda. I saw this guy that looks like The Rock at the airport." And I was
It's
nice and polite and you know,
they're texting my editor right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But I've also heard that there's an issue tonight with how many tickets are sold for the show. So I can tell you from talking to people with this that people who are going to see this on television, the immediate thing they're going to be like, "Why isn't it sold out? It's Punk in Chicago. Why isn't it sold out?" And that I can tell you from talking to people I know familiar with the venue, that was a concern. Why is this not sold out? It's this show, this week, this match. And some people closer in contact with the venue were concerned as to why that match with MJF was not announced much further in advance to move tickets for the show.
Exactly. Plus, you've been running Chicago so much lately. Yeah. And then on top of that, you throw in the weather. With the weather not being so bad, maybe they get a lot more walk-up tickets tonight. Who knows? Yeah,
there's some people, you know, here at Reggie's, you know, this is a common thing. Wintrust, the DePaul Blue Demons play at Wintrust Arena. This is the common spot where people will come. If there's something big, it's United Center, which is a short Uber away from here. You know, Bulls, Hawks pre-games, there'll be people here too for those games. Almost everybody in here I'm talking to. So like, yeah, I bought tickets today for AEW. But I also checked with the venue today and, you know, they've maybe sold 300 to 400 tickets day of, which is not a bad number. You know, this is still going to be like 6,000-7,000 people, you know, here at the show. So it's worth knowing. But I do think that'll be something for the television audience that they're like, wait, you know, like there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect there. If the match is great, who cares?
Yeah, exactly. So we're not done with the Shane O'Mac story, but let's just talk real quick about our second story. A lot of top WWE superstars were let go, and their 90-day no-competes are up as of today. That includes Mia Yim, Karrion Kross, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Oni Lorcan, Grand Metalik, Lindsay Dorado, B-Fab, Nia Jax, Ember Moon, Eva Marie. Kev, do you expect anybody to show up tonight?
Wouldn't surprise me if one of them are here. You know, it really wouldn't surprise me if one of them were
any
there.
Leader in the clubhouse, so to speak?
Killer Kross would have to be the main leader in that. They do have a lot of characters that are similar to him in all wrestling, and he is a character-based performer. But I do think he's a guy who has a certain pedigree. The fact that he is big and slower, but that doesn't hold him back, would really make him stand out in the same way that Malachi Black gets over because he's very much a character. and he's slower, whereas everyone else is a different type of look, and they're very, very fast, and he's methodical in that regard. And for lack of a better phrase, sometimes that stands out, you know? Sometimes a big, heavy, slow song is fat. It plays a little bit different than like a fast, heavy song, you know?
Yeah.
So I would go with him, but it wouldn't surprise me if any of those women were on this show. If
Yeah.
Ember
Please, for
Moon
the
popped
love
up
of
on this
God,
show, that would
Ember
make a lot
Moon.
of sense. Yeah.
That's all I want. If anybody's going to show up tonight, I want it to be Ember Moon.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of independent history here in Chicago. She wrestled with AAW. She wrestled with Shimmer here. Big name in the Midwest. It wouldn't surprise me if some of those people are just here at that show getting a look as well. I'm going to try and get over there soon because I know they're going to tape Dark Elevation, and maybe some of those people could pop up on that show, by the way. And Rampage will be taped tonight as well. So plenty to see on this show.
Yeah,
Maybe Shane O'Mac shows up. Maybe Shane shows up.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that, man?
It makes more sense with the issues that were going on in the men's rumble that there was something going on with the way the match was produced. You know, like there's some dots that kind of connect there. The underlying, that WrestleVotes line about this is going to have ramifications in the future, that certainly interesting. If you're a WWE follower, like what's going on there. But I don't know. I'll leave it to you boys. I don't want to interrupt too much. Thank you for the plug. Stay warm where you are. My hand is already cold. I regret doing this outside, but the phone signal is better.
Enjoy the show tonight and knock 'em dead in the comedy show after, man.
That's the plan. If you're coming out, hey Rick, great to see you, rooting for you and all and the whole gang. All right, buddy, take care, man. See you guys. See you, Sid. See you, Jeremy. Bye, guys. Bye.
Later. Do you start with Rick? Do you expect somebody to show up tonight? Do you expect an Ember Moon? Chicago, of course. Kev mentioned AAW ties. Do you have a good feeling about somebody jumping in there tonight?
I'm not going to expect it, but I mean, almost maybe you should, because we get a debut in AEW almost every other week at this point with this company. Now, Louis Dangor did report yesterday that there was going to be a debut, but that was right before Tony Khan announced that Brian Kendrick was going to be on the show. So that could have been the debut. Brian Kendrick, of course, now been pulled from the show. So I'm not entirely sure if we're going to get anybody tonight. Again, I would hope it's going to be Ember Moon. I would say out of all the people that were released, and there were a lot of talented people, she's the one I would say out of the most that I'm looking forward to the most to see what the next step in their career is. And I think she would be a home run hire for that women's division in AEW.
I'm just going to help y'all out because it took y'all a while, and some of y'all still call him Danny O'Brien when his name is Brian Danielson. I'm just going to get y'all into the routine. Athena. 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 Stop calling her Ember Moon. Stop calling her by a slave name.
Oh, slave name.
Damn.
Ooh, Sid, you think anybody's coming out tonight with the
I would hope Athena for sure. That's one of my I haven't been the biggest fan of her character wise when she was Ember Moon. I prefer her as Athena because she was just a great in-ring worker. Mia Yim is another one that I would love to see. That's someone that is very talented and I feel like didn't get the spotlight that she needed in WWE. And of course, Keith Lee is the leader. Is on.
Yeah, I feel there could be I feel Cross could be on tonight. Now, what I want to see as a wish list is I want to see Shane Taylor and Keith Lee reform like they had in Ring of Honor and maybe tear up AEW's tag division a little bit.
Oh, because that's what they need, another tag team in AEW. That tag team division's really suffering in AEW. They need another one.
It is.
Now.
Pretty boy colors. I'm with it.
Not necessarily to be a tag, but maybe Keith Lee with Shane Taylor Promotions as a faction. Not necessarily have to be a tag team on that. Let's go back to the Shane McMahon stuff. Like Kevin mentioned it here when he was on with us. WrestleVote saying a ripple effect for years to come. What do you guys take from that?
I think it's basically Shane has a relationship with a lot of people in WWE, and when he is around, he takes kind of like a locker room leader type of role, and people listen to him. And I think that there is stuff going on behind the scenes that we haven't been, revealed as of yet. We know Nick Khan is taking a bunch of control. We know Triple H is taking less. And like he's less involved in creative for NXT as well as the main roster. We haven't been hearing much about Stephanie McMahon. There's a lot of changes behind the scenes, and one less McMahon, I would think, would have ramifications and consequences for WWE for years to come.
Yeah, definitely. And here in the chat, Randy with a good question. David Boy Smith Jr. for the Owen tournament. That would be absolute slam dunk guy to have in the tournament. The guy can still go. He just, nobody had seen him on TV forever. He's been doing good work in New Japan and did absolutely nothing when he came back to the WWE. So that would be a slam dunk.
Who's the person here saying Eva Marie is all elite? What are we doing here?
I don't just see Eddie in the chat here. I'm seeing a lot of people, and I think they're just trying to be funny. I don't know.
I hope.
I don't know. More on there is still even more on Shane McMahon's story. Apparently, Shane was supposed to be a regular on Raw as a heel to lead to a match at WrestleMania. He was supposed to work the Elimination Chamber match and be eliminated by Austin Theory. So that was what was supposed to set up him and Theory at Mania, was both guys in the chamber and Theory eliminating Shane. There are also reports that Vince vetoed a lot of things that Shane wanted to do in the Royal Rumble match as well. So
look, this is either going to turn out to be one of two things. It's either going to be Shane was coming in there and trying to go into business for himself and set up a lot of stuff around himself and was causing a lot of havoc with that, or this was Shane trying to come in and make the match better and was getting vetoed by Vince, and then all of a sudden you have two very stubborn human beings who happen to be related to one another who started fighting, and the guy whose name is on the CEO of the company said, "Get your ass out, boy." All right, it's going to be one of the two. It's going to be one of the two. So either Shane was actually causing some problems, or that's the story that's getting leaked, and Shane was actually trying to save the damn match. It's going to be one of the two.
I mean,
from the outside looking in, it sounds like Shane wanted to set up a WrestleMania match in the men's Royal Rumble, and Vince was like, "We will have no setting up of WrestleMania matches unless it's Brock versus Roman Reigns." That's what it sounds like.
Could be.
Literally nothing was teased during that men's Royal Rumble match as far as feuds, as far as like eliminations being key, focused on in any type of way. It literally was all about the ending, number 30 coming out and Brock winning. That's all it was about. And the only feud that continued in the men's Royal Rumble was Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss.
Yeah, and they had
WrestleMania.
There was no continuity either. Like, you had all that stuff with the Mysterios and Street Profits, and freaking Ray and Dominic were never even in the match at the same time.
Yeah, that should have been the easiest elimination to do, is Dominic tossing out Rey Mysterio. That should have been slam dunk, easiest freaking elimination to do. They couldn't even do that. The only elimination that honestly made sense was Sami Zayn tossing out Johnny Knoxville. That was the only elimination that really made any sense whatsoever that I can think of off the top of my head.
One final thing, because seriously, there is just a lot of stuff on this Shane thing. One final thing, another thing that might have really just rubbed people the wrong way was the Bad Bunny involvement. Apparently, Shane changed Bad Bunny's number entrance, apparently, and a lot of people within WWE were upset. I don't know why, outside of the fact that maybe it just doesn't look good to change plans on someone that is a celeb out of the blue and get them out of their comfort zone. I don't know. Again, Bad Bunny I thought looked good in the Rumble. Maybe it would set up something with Sheamus at Mania, but yet that wasn't really followed up upon either. But that's on SmackDown, so maybe we will have Sheamus talk about Bad Bunny on Friday and maybe set up a WrestleMania match there. But I think maybe Bad Bunny might have a concert then. So
he's on tour during WrestleMania weekend.
So, the Royal Rumble had no continuity and no follow-up to it. So, what a mess.
You know what? If Brock Lesnar ends up winning the WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber, the Royal Rumble didn't freaking matter anyway, because WWE was going to get their title for title match that they wanted to do, and they circumvented the Royal Rumble by having Brock win it.
And they could have had Brock just enter as WWE champion to get his match with Roman Reigns that he's wanted or didn't get at day one. So it just feels like very lazy booking overall, and that Shane McMahon is kind of being the scapegoat in all of this. But I'm interested to see, because we've seen him leave before and we've seen him come back before. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen this time.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Now it's interesting what you do. What do you do with Austin Theory now in at WrestleMania? Because clearly they were trying to build something with him in his relationship with Vince, and Shane and him at Mania made complete sense. Maybe that still happens, and this just all blows over because we still have 59 days till WrestleMania, as the graphic will tell you.
Also true.
Why no NXT stars in the Rumble? Yeah, that's a good question too. Nobody seems to know.
Because WWE doesn't want to promote NXT 2.0.
Yeah,
Have you ever noticed that in any of their promos, there is never a WWE symbol anywhere at all in an NXT promo? If you were somebody watching USA Network and you saw an NXT promo, you would have no earthly idea that that was a WWE product. I don't think they're proud of NXT 2.0. We've had the reports that have come out that they're disappointed in them. And I don't think they wanted to trot out any of those stars and lean on them for any Rumble experience this year just because of that. I think a lot of that adds up and makes sense in my mind anyway. That's just me speculating.
Yeah,
you are partly right, but they do have the logo during NXT in the bottom left hand corner. Last night.
Did you see it last night? Okay, because I've been looking at this for weeks and I have not seen one. So okay, that's fair.
Our final story of the evening, Booker T on his Hall of Fame podcast talked about how one superstar is now a huge babyface thanks to what happened at the Royal Rumble, and that is Seth freaking Rollins. Booker T said, "Did you see the crowd? It would have been back in the day. It would have been have stuff getting thrown in the ring, and it was like that. What I'm talking about as far as making fans feel a certain way, because Roman, his intensity, his intent, it makes it as real as possible he can to the fan that is watching it. They got caught up in the moment. Seth Rollins becomes the biggest babyface in the arena right there based on what happened within the match. That person that can carry that is Seth Rollins as well. What did you guys think? Do you agree with Booker? Just kind of how everything played out with Roman Reigns in that match? Do you feel like Seth Rollins becomes a big babyface out of this whole thing?
Yeah, Rick.
Yeah, I think he's eventually going to be a full-fledged babyface. He's still mixing it up with. He's kind of in that tweener mode right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he's still mixing it up with Kevin Owens, who is also kind of a tweener right now, but is still technically a heel. I mean, look, if you look at the biggest indicator of what somebody is how they treat the audience, right?
Yeah.
And Seth Rollins on Monday was hyping up that Cincinnati crowd.
Yeah.
By pumping up my Cincinnati Bengals going to the Super Bowl for the first time since the year I was born. He called Cincinnati the hottest city in the country, which we are right now. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, like, look, he's doing a lot of baby face type things. Is he there yet? Not all the way, but yeah, I think it's pretty clear that they're going down the avenue where they're going to turn Seth Rollins into one of their top faces on Monday night.
Yeah, and Steven Chambers in the chat saying thinking it's Seth and Owens at Mania. It sure teased that way just because
Run it back. Why not?
Owens was getting upset that the fact that Seth did not have to qualify to get in. We'll see what happens in there. What are your thoughts, Sid, on the direction of Seth Rollins?
I've said since back at Survivor Series that Seth Rollins was getting a babyface reaction because I was there in Barclays Center in Brooklyn, and he got one of the biggest reactions out of the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown 5-on-5, and you can just hear week after week the crowd getting more into the theme song, the all of that. They get into the whole character, and then positioning him against the top heel in Roman Reigns was only gonna get him a babyface type reaction. But I mean, I don't take Booker T's opinions that seriously. Because,
not many do.
Yeah. Like
I just thought it was an interesting take that he had in there, and you've kind of seen the seeds be sown on that a little bit, but yet at the same time, Rick saying he's a tweener, which is perfectly a good assessment as well. I've said it before. This has probably been my favorite iteration of a Seth Rollins character since he's debuted. So I love this character. I think it will work as a babyface. It works great as a heel, as you already seen as well. But it's weird though, because Lashley was acting like a babyface at the Rumble, and he was anything but on Mondays. So it's another case of WWE not knowing what the hell they're doing.
Somebody, yeah.
they're presenting matches with two over characters. They don't care much about heel versus heel anymore.
Yeah.
We have yet to see them do an effective babyface versus babyface match in a very long time. But heel versus heel is perfect because that's why everybody in WWE wants to play heel, because it does not matter what type of reaction you get. You are either the cool heel like Seth Rollins that gets over with the fans and the fans start cheering you, or you are an effective heel who gets booed. Like either or.
This was one of the most.
Let me ask you a question.
Real quick. This was one of the most interesting parts I thought about Becky Lynch's conversation with Stone Cold during Broken Skull Sessions. If you guys haven't watched it yet,
I need to see that yet.
Yeah, they started talking about, he asked her, does she like being a heel or a babyface better? And she talked about it's more fun to be the heel because you're not restricted. You're not restrained into this babyface box that WWE kind of put you in. She didn't say the box that WWE put you in. I added that, but it's pretty clear what WWE restricts what baby faces are allowed to do on a week-by-week basis. And she even said pretty much verbatim what Sid said. Either you're the cool heel and people love you and they cheer for you and that's great, or they boo the hell out of you and they hate you and you're doing your job effectively. That's why everybody said is spot on. That's why everybody wants to be a heel in WWE.
Yeah, and let me ask you one question. Do you think Adam Cole is profitable? And what is he? What is he? He's a heel. And he's highly profitable for AEW. So
yeah, and he's one of the most over people.
Exactly.
The audience is too smart these days. All right, we're all in behind the curtain. All right, we're gonna cheer for who we like, no matter what.
Still real to me, damn it.
Becky Lynch shit all over my city. All right, I ain't removed this Funko Pop.
No,
all right,
it's still minty. It's still in minty shape.
Yeah. Cool. We're fine.
That's going to do it for this edition of Sports Kid Top Story. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this with everybody in the world. We got a lot of cool stuff. Kev Kellum was down at the Royal Rumble, had some great interviews with the likes of AJ Styles and Liv Morgan and Nikki ASH. So check that out. Also, every Monday, Legions of Raw with Chris Featherstone and bro Vince Russo. Wednesdays, we've got the debrief, which is tonight. So after your AEW Dynamite, come head over to our Sportskeeda All Elite page as Rico and Jose are going to break down tonight's Dynamite. Maybe some special guests. Maybe we'll see. Who knows? And, of course, Friday Smack Talk with these two gentlemen and Dirty Dutch Mantel every Friday. So make sure you like and subscribe and share that because we have a lot of fun acting with you as we have tonight with many of people that have joined our show tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you. We also, these two gentlemen also have another little podcast, a little something you may want to believe in. Rick, talk to them.
Yes, Believe in Pro Wrestling podcast channel. This is something that Sid and I launched early January. We are growing slowly but surely every single day. We're already up to 118 subscribers on our YouTube channel. I've dropped the link in the comments twice. Please subscribe. We got some cool stuff coming up. Our next episode is going to drop tomorrow at 7 a.m. Oh, by the way, if you can't watch the YouTube channel, anywhere podcasts can be found, whether it's Apple, whether it's Google, whether it's Spotify, iHeartRadio app. We are on there. It's Believe, spelled B-L-E-A-V in pro wrestling. You can find us on Believe.com. It's right there. Please
I spelled it in the chat.
Subscribe. I would really, really appreciate you guys. Going to have some interviews dropping up there pretty soon as well, so that your support is much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. Sid, what do you got going on, man?
You got more going on than me.
Believe in Pro Wrestling. You can also subscribe to the True Heel Heat YouTube channel. We just hit 2,000 subscribers over there, and we just got a new show over on the Fightful Overbooked YouTube channel, True Rewind, where we go back in time and watch the Monday Night Wars between WWF Raw and WCW Nitro. So subscribe to all of those, but believe in pro wrestling. That's what it's all about. And Sportskeeda Wrestling, it's all moving. Definitely a lot of content for you to enjoy on there. And we'll see you on Friday on Smack Talk.
Oh, for definitely. And for Sid and for Rick and for myself, we'd like to thank you for tuning in to the top story. And once again, there's always one important thing that you got to do about wrestling. And gentlemen, what is that one important thing?
Go into business for yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And believe in pro wrestling.
Yes.
And maybe enjoy wrestling. Yeah.
Watch out.